นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะข้าพเจ้าขอนอบน้อมต่อองค์สมเด็จพระสัมมาสัมพุทธเจ้าวันนี้เป็นวันพระขึ้น15ค่ำตรงกับวันเสาร์ที่29สิงหาคม2558 Today is a full moon. It is Saturday, 29th of August, 2015. This morning at the meditation time, I was mentioning about how important for us monastics to always examine our own purpose to be ordained. We have to be very serious with our life as monastics because we have chosen it. Nobody asked you to come. You are the one who seek for this path. And this path is only for few, not for many. You are the one who asked to receive Samaneri Okpacha. You are the one who asked to receive Sikhamana. Sikhamana was given not by me, but by Bhikkhuni Sangha. All that because you ask. And also once you become Bhikkhuni, you are also have proved that you could remain for 2 years as Sikhamana. And you entered into a higher level of ordination. That is commitment. It is commitment which is very important because it is life commitment. You commit yourself to the Buddha. We commit ourselves to the Buddha, that we will walk this path. This path is the path that the Buddha walked. How beautiful. We are walking behind him and we are following exactly as how he has been describing for us to walk. At the time of ordination, we made a statement to our Upajjhaya, to our preceptor, that Sappatukkha Nissarana, I will try my best to do away with all the sufferings. Nibbana Satchikaranatthaya, I will try to make Nirvana, which is the highest spiritual goal, to make this goal a reality in this life. At the time of ordination, one word you said, Patirupang, I will change, I will reform myself. Because we are shifting the ground where we stand from a lay person to a monastic. It is a great shift. So therefore, once you become a monastic, you have to know that our life is very much committed to Dharma and Vinaya. And because we are Bhikkhuni, or at least we are members of Bhikkhuni Sangha, we have to live in a setting, in a Sangha setting. That is, we have to live with others. Living with others is not easy if you are not clear with your goal. Because each one of us come from a different background, entirely different background. And in Buddhism, there is no caste system, which means people of all castes join Buddhism. People of all walk of life join Buddhism, of different age, different upbringing, different education, different need, different want. Of course, we live among differences, but we do share the same goal. And because we do share the same goal, Sangha supports us to walk this path. I always talk about monastics as potato. I compare to potato. We pick up potato from the ground, put it in a bucket. The bucket is a temple. The bucket is the monastery. Each one of us is like potato. Some very bumpy. The bumpy one, बहुत मुश्किल, very difficult. The bumpy one, because I will be stirring the potato in the water. This stirring is the monastic training. And because we live in a sangha, we live as potatoes, staying in this bucket, so I stir. Of course, the potatoes will rub each other. The more bumps you have, the more hurt you get. The more bump you have, the more hurt you get. But if you can withstand, understanding the goal, that towards the end, when we pour out the potatoes, all are clean. All the skin has gone because of the rubbing. And those bumpy ones, and because of the rubbing, now they become very rounded, very clean potato, ready for use. So, if we do not realize that staying in a sangha is like this, rubbing each other is only natural process of training. Natural process of training. You live together, you come from various walks of life. So we have to realize that this process is very important to build up a sangha. If you get hurt because this one says something, you get hurt because this one says something, you get hurt because someone else says something, that's because you are a bumpy potato. The more bumps you have, the more hurt you get. Understanding this, you will be able to have khanti. You will be having patience. You will develop patience to remain, to retain in the bucket until the time when the stirring is finished, all of the potatoes are nice and clean and round. Then you will pour out. Then you are ready to go out and spread the words of the Buddha. The first time when the Buddha actually sent out his very first group of monks to preach, there were 60 of them. And these 60 monks, they were all enlightened, all enlightened. And the Buddha instructed them that you go out for the benefit of the community. But don't go two, one in this direction, one in this direction, so that at least you cover 60 directions. But if you go two, then already the directions are limited. So go on your separate way, spread the words of the Buddha, spread Dharma, as you have learned. As you have learned and as you have become enlightened. So there is also about the teaching and also about the way that you have followed the teaching so that you become enlightened. Dharma is the same. The taste of Dharma is the same. But Dharma that has been practiced by you become you. So when you teach Dharma of the Buddha, but the way you teach is different from the next one because you have already internalized the teaching, you have already tested the teaching so that you could overcome from suffering. And now you said, oh, but Venerable Mother, we are not enlightened yet. How can we go out and preach? Whatever you teach is what you have practiced. The Dharma that you have practiced and benefit, you realize the benefit, you feel the benefit. Talk about that. Talk about that. Share with people what you have experienced. You are ambassador. Each one of us is ambassador, spreading the words through what we have practiced. Of course, we have not been totally enlightened, but certain things, certain problems that you have encountered and you have been able to gain stability, mental stability within yourself. Then you can teach. Then you can tell others, oh, this problem, I have experienced it. This is what the Buddha taught, and this is how I did, and how I came out of suffering. So that becomes our duty. Our duty. To be ordained is to become ambassador. ambassador. So therefore, you realize that, oh, this is our commitment. Therefore, we will be more strengthened on the path. Strengthened on the path, this spiritual path that is open for us. The Buddha showed us how to become enlightened. He was such a great master that when he discovered this truth, he did not keep it for himself, but he spread out the words. He didn't have anything in his palm, it's open palm. He gave all his teaching to everyone. Of course, maybe not the same, because we are different. Each one of us is different. The Dharma that the Buddha teach you may be different from this one, may be different from that one, because he has that insight, the divine insight, to be able to consider that this person is stuck with something. So he would provide the teaching that would guide this person to come out of that clinging, to come out of that suffering. So living in a monastic setting is very helpful for our own spiritual development. If you have all kind of complaints, consider looking at yourself. Why do you have this complaint? Why do you have this complaint? How come people who live in the same way like you, how come these 25 bhikkhunis and samaneris, they don't have complaint? Why is that we are the one who always have this complaint, that complaint about that bhikkhuni, about that bhikkhuni, about that novice? What is it that we want? Why is it so hurtful that when that person did this to me, then I get hurt? It's all the time you need to have this self-evaluation, self-reflection, and very sincere self-examination. Only with sincere self-examination, only then you can overcome the suffering which caused you all kind of complaint, all kind of pain. If there is no self-examination, there is no self-evaluation, there is no self-judgment, wherever you go, you will always have the complaint. You will always have the complaint. You will always suffer. It is not the place, it is not others, but it is we ourselves that we have to look and be sincere in our training so that we could live above the problems. Be like a lotus. A lotus is born from mud. But you look at the lotus, look at the leaf of the lotus. You drop water on it, the leaf never get wet. Look at the lotus petal, doesn't get wet, because it has certain kind of quality that water can stay with me, I don't mind, but the leaf, the petal itself never get wet. If your name is Lotus, well, at least you look at the lotus, and lotus will be a great teacher to you. And we always here in Thailand, we use lots of lotus, making offering to the Buddha, and we consider lotus as the highest type of flower to make offering, because even the Buddha sits on the lotus. Look at the Buddha image. The Buddha sits on the lotus, and just not anyone can sit on the lotus. Suppose if they draw a picture of me sitting on the lotus, no, only the Buddha can sit on the lotus. You look at the gate, above the gate there is the present Buddha standing on the lotus, leading the whole line of bhikkhunis. And then the one coming behind is a future Buddha. He is also sitting on the lotus. Take a good look as you're on the third floor now, you go out and take a good look. So it is symbolic. It is symbolic and it means something. So when you look at flowers, you look at lotus, there is a great deal of Dharma that could teach us. Okay? So we always, when you come in conflict with anyone, always examine. Why do I feel like that? Why do I feel so negative? What is the cause of it? How can I come out of it? We cannot go and correct other people. The Buddha said that you know, this world, this big, huge world. We cannot spread. How big is this ladder that you want to spread the whole world so that you can walk comfortably? So, better than covering the whole world with a large piece of leather, why don't we cover our own feet? We cover our own feet and we walk. Doesn't matter how big is this world. You can always walk without getting hurt. So that is very, very important message that we should learn from the teaching of the Buddha, and always be peaceful at heart, be comfortable at heart, and be kind and be caring. The word caring. Again, the word caring comes in the Pratimoksha. It says, Anatharang pajitiyam. If you do not care for others, athon, na? คำว่า athon. Anatharang แปลว่าไม่มีความอาทร Anatharang means without care. When you are without care, then you are against pajittiya. Today we will be reciting Anatharang pajitiyam in the Pratimoksha. Okay, so as a monastics, we do have to care for others. We do have to care for ourselves, and we do have to care for others. We have to care for the Sangha, and we have to care for the surrounding that you live in. That is how we can take care of each other. Sadhu.